Hello Flosstube, it's Amy, also known as Aussie Stitcher in Texas, here with you on Sunday, September 1st with Flosstube update number 28. This is my August update, so everything that I stitched on in the month of August. I want to say a big hello to all of my returning subscribers. Hello to all of my new subscribers. I got a bunch of you from my last update video. Thank you for joining me. I hope you stick around and continue to watch and like what you see. As a reminder, anyone not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It helps with the YouTube gods. But let's get into the stitching. So I stitched on not as many projects as I normally would in a month, but I was away for 10 days in Las Vegas on a work conference. So that did limit the stitching time that I had. I did still, however, manage to get in almost 15,000 stitches, which surprises me considering last August of 2023, I think I got less than 10,000. So I did intentionally pick a lot of projects this month that were block color so that I could get the numbers. I don't know, I need to stop focusing so much on the numbers, but it's nice to get big numbers, because that also means that I'm getting progress on these pieces as well. You know, I'm not working on a piece for just a day and then, you know, getting 200 stitches and putting it away. You know, that'll take me 100 years to finish, and I don't like that. I do like seeing progress, and I do like seeing finishes on my pieces. So I do work on them. It also helps that I have next to no responsibilities. So I don't have any children, I don't have a husband to take care of. So all of my time is for stitching, which I like most of all. But the projects I worked on, so I had 2 finishes this month, one kind of planned, actually both kind of planned. One was a start and a finish, and I actually FFO'd it. The other one was just a regular finish from one of my pieces. And then I worked on 2, 4, 6 additional pieces to that, including my whipgo calls. So let's jump in and start with the finishes. So first off is the Celebrate Christmas by Madame Chantilly. So here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. This is stitched on a 40 count Verdal in the color Boneyard, I believe. And using all the called for DMC. I did sub out some of the white for Etoile white. And even though you can't, like the white Christmas at the bottom doesn't show up great on camera, in person it shows up just fine. So had I done a floss toss on this, I probably would have chosen a darker fabric just to help that white really pop, but that's okay. So this is finished. So I now have 2 Madame Chantilly trays done. One is the Halloween tray and the other is now this one. And I am working on Celebrate Summer, which I'll show you in a moment. I did work on that this month, and I have the other seasons as well. I have spring and autumn. I haven't purchased like Easter and 4th of July. I may or may not. I might just get these other ones done first and then see where I'm at. Okay, so that was finish number 1 for August. Finish number 2, which was my start and finish. If you've been watching my videos for kind of since about the beginning of the year, you'll know that I was doing a bunch of the gnomes from Sew to Stitch, the Birthstone gnomes, and I was giving them to my friends just because I wanted to stitch, and you've got to get rid of some of this stuff, don't you? So I had done, and I did have gifted all but one of them at the moment. I keep missing the final person that I see. I either forget to bring it when I see her, or I've got it and she's not there in the office, so that's going to take a little while for me to get to her, but otherwise I've given them to everybody else. And then I was stitching for a gnome for myself. Well, after stitching on 7 of the gnomes, I was kind of gnomed out, but I still needed to do one for myself. I shouldn't say needed, I wanted to do one for myself. So I decided to change it up, and Sew to Stitch also has the birthstones, but with like little girls as the, instead of a gnome. So I picked up one of those. So my birthday's in October, and here she is. I'm just gonna get the glare out for you. So this is on a 28 count, just Monaco that I picked up from Michael's. using all the called for colors. I did use CXC for the white, but otherwise everything else is called for DMC. And how cute is she? A lot more backstitch in this than in the gnomes. The gnomes really just had around the gem and then like a little smile, but she's obviously got her hair and her face and her dress. But I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. Kind of wish I had done these for the others, but gnomes are still cute as well. So that is finished. Oh, did I do her face? Yes, I did. Finish number 2. So now let's move into just regular WIP, so works in progress for August. My first, is it on the pile here? No. Let's start with my new start, my other new start. So I had 2 new starts. This is my second one. So this is Halloween Quaker from Hello by Liz Mathews. Hello from Liz Mathews. Here is what it will look like when it's finished. I'm still contemplating if I want to change the All Hallows Eve to, I think, Harvest is what Georgia Girl Stitching kind of did, because then it can just be out for a little bit longer, but I also don't mind All Hallows Eve as well. I do like Halloween things. So I'm stitching this also on a 40 count Verdal in the color Grogg by BeStitchMe. I'm using the DMC conversion for this. I'm not using the fancy floss, just because I don't, it's really not that variegated, so save myself some monies. But there's no before picture, obviously, because it's new, but here is where I got to. So I got about 2,000 stitches in this. I cannot tell you how proud I was. So I started with the, this is 3799, I believe. So, you know, I kind of started going across and then started going down. And my intention was to get all the way to the bottom and then start across, just so I could see and get a good visual on the size of the piece, you know, the width. However, I was like, even though I counted this like 100 times and then was even putting pins in for every 10 to make sure I was counting correctly, I was like, if I've counted wrong, that's a lot to unstitch. So I decided to kind of come in and do this pumpkin, and this pumpkin is complete, so that I could make sure that, okay, yeah, I have counted correctly, you know, to get to these, to there and everything. So I am good. But this is a lot of fun. It's only like 7 colors. Like I said, I'm using the DMC conversion, 40 count, so it's 1/2. Nice and easy. So very, very happy about that one. That'll probably come out again because this is being only 7 colors. It's a great, for me anyway. I mean, there is counting because it's a Quaker and there's, you know, motifs and whatnot, but being 1 color, you're not having to switch out. I feel like I get progress on the piece, which is really what I like. All right, now into my first of the WIP Go calls for August. So the WIP Go calls in August were number 12 and number 15. Number 12 for me was my hive rules, which I'd already completed, so there's no need to work on that. And then the other one was to work on 1,000 stitches on my Owl Forest Embroidery, which is this piece. I purchased the kit from Owl Forest. So I'm using all the kit materials. I'm going to try and put up a side-by-side so you can see what it looked like at the same time. This is like a long, skinny piece of fabric, so it can be hard to wrangle. But if I haven't already, here's what it looked like the last time you saw it, and here's what it is now. And if I can do like a comparison, maybe put the other one on top, I'll do that. But yeah, 1,000 stitches on this one. This is variegated floss that you get as part of the kit, and it is a dream to work with. It is so, it's not silk, but it almost feels like silk. It doesn't feel like regular DMC, that's for sure. It just slides so smoothly, and I'm really liking this piece. So I have, this is like kind of 3 panels almost. You've got an owl, a lynx, and a polar bear. So I think the owl portion is pretty much done. And then I will either come on this side or this side the next time I bring it out. Whatever I'm feeling. But absolutely loving that. So pretty. And I'm trying to put things away as I go. Otherwise, it's a mess. All right, what's next on my pile? So this is my monthly piece that I work on. This is my Alternative Reality by Josephine Wall, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. No, this is what it will look like when it's finished. My goal is to work on this for 2,000 stitches a month in order to see 25,000 stitches a year, plus my WIPCO calls that I have it in for, in order to be able to finish this in 5 years. So I actually went a little over this month. I did almost 3,000 stitches because I brought it out a couple of days ago. We were getting to the end of the month. I didn't want to kind of start another piece and nothing else was calling to me. So the way I'm kind of making this, if that makes sense, is if no piece is calling to me, but I do want to stitch, I'm pulling out my Alternative Reality to help get the numbers in, because it's just shy of 120,000 stitches and I don't want this to be something that just languishes on until the end of time. But this is what I'm going to try and do, like a top and bottom, so you can see the comparison. I'm almost at 30%. I'm at like 29 point something. But here's where we're at. So, as I talk behind the curtain, and you can see that the side by sides, hopefully. So I finished out the row on this side and then came down, and you can really see kind of the ruins on this side, which on camera look absolutely amazing. Because as you're stitching it, it all just, blends together and you're like, why am I using this color? And why am I using that color? That doesn't make sense. And then you see it on camera or you step back and it looks just absolutely amazing. And same with like the trees, the tree branches, and they don't look like much when you're stitching it up close, but once you see it, it's absolutely amazing. So this of course will come out again this month. I'll get my 2,000 stitches on it, which means I'll get her face on this side. So I should have both of her faces kind of being shown, which will be nice. And then you see the people. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. So beautiful. Absolutely love it. So that's Alternative Reality, like I said, just under 3,000 stitches there and almost 30%. So I'll definitely be at 30% with this next rotation. All right, we're flying through. What's next on my list? So next up is Witch's Hallow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This was part of their Halloween box. Their mermaid box comes out today. I need to make sure I purchased that. From last year, I think, or the year before. So this is what it will look like when it's finished. It is almost a full coverage. Basically, the orange that you see is the fabric, but the rest of it is all stitched. And I am doing this on a 32 count something. 32 count Rubious. Rubious by, it's a lugana by Under the Sea Fabrics. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. Oh, come on. And here's what it looks like now. So I got a good chunk of progress on this. I got about 2,500 stitches. I am stitching this with CXC floss, with the exception of like 1 or 2 colors, which was like under 100 stitches or just over 100 stitches. So I didn't buy a skein for that, but I'm telling you people, if you haven't tried CXC, give it a thought, because I mean, you can feel the thickness here. And I mean, look at that black coverage. Nothing is coming through. Absolutely nothing. It's absolutely amazing. Fantastic. I think I'll have to be using CXC, at least for the black, from now on for that extra bit of coverage. It looks so good. But that is Witch's Hallow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Where is your little thing? Okay. And then the next piece I worked on is Celebrate Summer by Madame Chantilly. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. I worked on this for how many stitches? 2200. I'm stitching this on 40 count Verdal, shocker, in the color April Showers by BeStitchMe, shocker. And I am using all the called for colors here. I didn't change out any of the like the white for a toile. I've left it as white. However, I am using some CXC here again because that's just a little bit more coverage. But if we come in, and I would have thrown up what it looked like last time. So I have done, with the exception of some backstitch here and then like the banner, this is all complete from here up. So I just have to put, I think it's SEA on there, but because they're long stitches, I was just worried about them getting ruined going in the Q-snap and everything like that. So I might just wait till the end to do those. And again, this color is coming up much lighter. Can I come back? That's it. Ah, there you go. Is that better? So that's more accurate in color. Not exact, but it is more accurate. And so the white does show up a lot better in person. But these are great. I mean, these are a lot of stitching, if I can get my words out. It's a lot of stitching on a Madame Chantilly tray, but it's very blocky. So if you are a blocky stitcher or you're worried about getting the progress, don't worry. You'll get them with Madame Chantilly. It's block. So it's nice, mindless stitching. Me trying to put this away by putting the folds like on the edge. And then lastly, I don't have it with me because I think I said this in my last update. So my other full coverage is Autumn by Alexandra V Bach. It is another Heaven and Earth Designs. However, I'm up in like the top. Obviously I start in the top left and there's really just nothing to see. So I did work on that yesterday for 584 stitches to be precise, but you know, it's just more of the same background. So that's a piece that I'm only going to show maybe every couple of months, just so you can see like a chunk of progress on it. Because it is just that background. There's not a lot going on. It's like 3 or 4 colors. But in talking about that, there is one, and I think I've said this before, one gripe I have with Heaven and Earth Designs. 99% happy. One gripe I have is in these pieces of, I mean, this piece is 371,000 stitches. To be in, so the colors, I mean, I'm using a lot right now is 3861, like 318, 414, 647, 304, 2. They all go together, like they blend together, and you know, there's enough of them that it, you know, it blends it out and everything. And then every now and then it calls for 553, which is, I mean, it's not a 550 purple, but it's not a lavender shade. It's a strong purple. And it will be like 1 stitch in the block of 10. 1 or 2 stitches in the block of 10. And it looks, and I did it in 1, and every time I stitch on it now, and I can't figure out how to frog it out because it's these 2 stitches. I think they're just gonna have to stay there and annoy me. But it just looks so bad. Like it doesn't, you know, I understand, you know, you're using charting software, and Heaven and Earth Designs have hundreds of charts on their sites. Don't get me wrong. They can't sit there and look through every single one and look for those ninja stitches and, you know, smooth them out with one of the corresponding colors that's next to it. So I'm doing that. So it's just frustrating to be like, okay, how many stitches? Oh, it's 1. I'm not doing it. So which one am I pulling from? Am I going to do the one that's to the left of it, to the right of it, whatever. It's not the end of the world. It's definitely a first world problem, but it's just something I wish would have a little bit more attention on, is to finding those ninja stitches and realizing, oh, this doesn't make sense. I mean, in my alternative reality, and it's another one, I've left it there, but in her hair, which is, you know, different shades of browns and, you know, some other colors for some like highlighting, there's 1 red stitch. 1 red stitch. Why? Who's got 1 red thing on the, you know, is it a mold? Like what's happening? Why? And it was 1, I didn't pick it up at the time Because, you know, when you're working on it so close, you're not seeing the bigger picture to kind of go, oh, that's a little weird to be putting this one random red stitch in her hair. You know, if it was, you know, a line to help with like a highlight, I've got no issue with that. But just this one stitch, and I'm doing that on 18 count, so it's kind of fairly noticeable, versus maybe on a 25 count 1/1, where you might not notice it as much once you step back. But definitely as I'm working on it, I see these colors that just, to me, stand out in not a good way. And I mean, I'm gonna stop my little rant, but yeah, that's one thing that I wish had a little bit more attention to detail, is just finding those ninja stitches and smoothing them out where it just doesn't make sense. Because like I said, when you've got something that's almost 400,000 stitches, to have 2 random dots of purple, of a dark purple, doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. And when I zoom in on the artwork itself, it's not something I can see. And maybe I'm just not zoomed in enough, or, you know, with a high enough resolution and whatnot. But we'll stop now from there and move on. So those are all of my whips for works in progress for the month of August. Like I said, just shy of 15,000 stitches, which I am very proud of. So if all you were here for was for the stitching, that's all I've done for the month. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope you can like this video and come back and see more. But for those of you who like to know about haul and plans, let's move on to that. So first off, let's start with plans. The Whip Go calls came out. They were number 4 and 11. Number 4 for me was Halloween Quaker, which I finished in July. So that's basically a free space for me, thank goodness. And then the other one was Country Magic Stitch, to work on that for 1,000 stitches. And I'm working on Visit Narnia from Country Magic Stitch. That is going to be, I feel like, a hard fought 1,000 stitches. Even though I'm in a spot where it's all block color, it's browns, and lately I've been struggling with stitching a lot of brown. It's draining to me, so I can only do a little bit at a time. So that might be a piece that I just throw onto a Q-snap and then chip away at it throughout the month. It's only 1,000 stitches and it's block, so it shouldn't take me too long theoretically. Even if I put in like 200 stitches a session, that might be my lunchtime project. I might do that for when I am working from home, just use that for lunch, and then I can it's like a palette cleanser almost, well, a reverse palette cleanser, because what I'll work on in the afternoon will be the cleanser. So that will be worked on this month. Obviously my alternative reality for its 2,000 stitches will be worked on this month. And then I have 2 soda stitches that are pretty close to a finish. One is Cafe, the pop-up store Cafe, and the other one is Our Wedding Day. Both of those are pretty close to a finish, so I might try and, you know what, I say that with the Cafe, I've only got 688, so yeah, 688 stitches left, but there's a lot of back stitch as well. So we'll see if I can get that finished this month. Our Wedding Day, I think, only had about 1,100 and not as much back stitch, so that should be good. And then for the rest of it, I'll just stitch on whatever I feel like. I'm not feeling a new start at the moment, but that always can change, and it is my birthday month next month, so I probably would try and save a new start for my birthday month. Not that I'll be here over my birthday. I am going on vacation with some friends to Hawaii, so that will be happening. Haul. So I received my final, so I was part of 2 Fabric of the Month clubs, Under the Sea Fabrics and BeStitchMe. I would get a 32 count from Under the Sea and a 40 count Verdal from BeStitchMe. I have built up quite the stash, so I have now cancelled those Fabric of the Month clubs. As much as I love them and they are beautiful and I loved receiving something every month, I have enough stash now, and I'm pulling from stash. It's rare that I'm looking at a piece and I don't have a fabric for it. You know, maybe it wasn't the perfect one, but you know, I'm happy with what I have in stash to be able to pull from there. So I've decided that those have been cancelled, but I did receive my last BeStitchMe Fabric of the Month, which is the 40 count. So this is Sandbar, which is like blue mottled, which is nice. And I mean, that was the other thing. I was starting to notice some of them were being very, it was, you know, a slightly different shade of neutral and a slightly different shade of blue. And, you know, again, while all beautiful, I now have enough of those in my stash to be able to pull from, so that I'll just now, if there's something I want, I'll just buy it separately. But so that was my last fabric of the month club. And as I put it on Boneyard, it looks exactly the same. And then I did make one or two purchases. Soda Stitch having a sale. Soda Stitch is almost always having a sale. So, and I love the Soda Stitch patterns. So the first one I got was Mermaid's Room, the second Mermaid's Room. So let me bring that in. So cute. And I've seen like a couple of different artists do these like things in bottles, and I just really like it. So that's why I decided to purchase that one. And then, let me just make sure this is it. Yep. And then the other piece I bought was Libra from Soda Stitch, because I am a Libra. So those are my purchases from the month. My final fabric, my final fabric of the month club. I'm trying to curtail my spending because, like I said, I'm going to Hawaii and that is not inexpensive. And I want to be able to do all the things whilst I'm there. But that is my update for August. Yep, that's the month that just went. I hope everybody who is here in the US and gets to have a long Labor Day weekend with Monday off. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope it's cooling down where you are. I think we're supposed to be in like the 80s this week, which it's felt like forever since we've been in the 80s. It might be cool enough for me to open some windows and get some fresh air in here, which I'm really hoping. But I hope everyone has a fantastic month ahead. Happy stitching, everybody. Bye.